Hello. All right. It's the 2nd of April. It's a Friday. And this Sunday is Easter Sunday. This Sunday is Easter Sunday. It's also quite warm today. Flo has gone shopping in Manosque, and I'm going to walk to the Connemara, and I'm bringing my laptop, which is a bit heavy. And for the first time this year, I'm wearing shorts and just a light blue shirt over my black t-shirt because it's warm. How do I look? I look either very cool or like an idiot, depending on your view. Look at Bob. Bob's arms are all stretched out on the thing. Now, before I go, because I'm ready to go now, everything's set. But before, maybe I should put my little blue thing. I'm kind of paranoid about my neck. Put this blue thing on my neck. If it doesn't interfere with the microphone. Okay, that's it. Microphone should be, well, it should be fine there. Oops. The other cables, I've got them all in my pocket. So I'm going to the Connemara with my laptop because maybe I can make the microphone a little better. Because we've got our new line set up. Our new line, which is I can never remember the name of it. Fiber optic. I don't know why I can't remember that two words. Fiber optic. But we've got the fiber optic set up, and I've got some audio files to upload to YouTube. So I wanted to try and see if I can hook my laptop up for the first time to the fiber optic, and then see, is it speedier? What's it like? And that's it. Now, my two animals here seem to be both lying down sleeping. I'm going to be away for some time probably, so I'm wondering, should I feed them? Should I feed you, guys? I think I'm going to feed you. It's 3:30. It's 3:30, 4:30, 5:30. It's going to be too late by the time I come back. I'm sure, Tuco, you'll be able to wake up long enough to eat some food, won't you? And Bob, I'm sure Bob would like some food as well. 2nd of April, I've managed to upload all the February stuff already. I don't see Bob. Bob is lying on the couch. Bob doesn't seem to be hungry. Well, he'll have it anyway. And Tuco. What are you having, Tuco? It looks like you're having carrots and lamb and vegetables. My goodness, lamb and vegetables, Tuco. I wouldn't mind lamb and vegetables myself, huh? Lamb and vegetables. Do you have enough water? Yeah. A couple of Tuco's Friskies. There you go. He's definitely woken up now. Put your Caesar back in the fridge. Here we go. Here we go, Tuco. There you go. That's fantastic. Right, and then I'm off. You know what? I got my flask here. I'm going to bring it because I've got a cough. Where am I going to put this thing? Let's just put it in the laptop bag. Okay, I've got some money. Got this bag. I'm ready to rumble. I'm going to do one last check to make sure that I'm still recording because the microphone's in a very good place. Am I recording? I am still recording. Good. Okay. There's one last change. I think I'm going to carry the water because it's going to be a bit awkward to take that out every time I want to get a drink. My God, Tuco, finished already? Finished already, huh? Let me give you a biscuit. And Bob, you finished as well? Ah, you both finished. You were both hungry after all. There we go. There we go, boys. Enjoy the afternoon nap. I'm looking into Bernard's garden. I just saw a big black chicken or a hen or a cock, I don't know, just walking across his garden. All right. I hope I'm not going to be cold or anything coming back. Probably not. It's a bit windy. So how are you? How are you today? Are you trying to sleep? As I'm aware, I listen to a lot of these things at night. I listened to one last night from April of last year, April 14th last year. I went on for a long time about transport fever and the fact that I was making, I was recording episodes and uploading them, and I was really, really into the game. I was enjoying it. And then in the second half of that 40-minute audio, I went on about looking at my diary, the red diary from when I was very young, and 1978, talking about the fact that I got the stylophone in 78, Christmas 78, and Christmas 79 I got my famous radio. And Elvis Costello, Armed Forces. Strange just thinking about those times. A flash comes back of listening to Elvis Costello in the sitting room, looking at the mantelpiece. Just a flash, almost like a picture. But when you remember something clearly like that, when you're in the moment, it's amazing, because you're in the moment of yourself when you were 12 or 13, let's say 13 in the case of the Elvis Costello thing. And when I think back to the moment that I was playing the stylophone, and it was Christmas night, and again, I don't know the details, just I put the record on that came with the stylophone. And the wonderful voiced guy, not Rolf Harris, another guy, he walks you through what numbers to play. 1, 4, 4, 1. And then in the background, a kind of orchestra starts playing Amazing Grace. And you're playing along with it. And I remember doing that at that moment and having my mother or someone say, "Is that you playing?" And it's a strong moment, and I'm putting myself in the moment. But the really interesting thing to think about was that in that moment, I was only 12. So when I remember myself playing that, I'm remembering myself almost as I am now. Because you never really think like a child. You're always kind of an adult in some respect in your mind. You know, a grown-up. So I'm playing it, really excited, because I was going to order more records to play along with, and I thought this is going to be fantastic. Little did I know it would be a disaster, because the records that I would get that have all these tunes I didn't know, and so I wasn't really able to play along with them properly. Whereas Amazing Grace, I knew the tune, so. But just thinking back and remembering that moment, and then realizing, my God, I was only 12, nearly 13, but I was only 12 at that time, 12 years old. I just existed for 12 years. I mean, 12 years ago we were in Narbonne. That's the amount of time I had existed on the earth. Sometimes when you get memories like that, it's just very interesting to remember how old you are. Like when I'm writing in the Red Book and I'm writing about the academy in my books, and again I have snapshot little memories of being in 1A3, going across to the science room. The smell, I can remember the smell of the building because it was new. Everything was new. The smell of wood. My teachers, but again, I was just 12 at that time. Now I'm 55. Canteen opens. Don't worry, it's only water. This last few days have been very nice. The last 3-4 days I got up out of bed feeling fine, and then we went downstairs to the garden with Flo and Tuco and Bob and the Ginger Cat and anybody else that was there, drinking coffee and listening to Ronan Collins for an hour, and then when he's finished going back, I haven't listened today, but listening to Claire Byrne on the morning program, the politics program, the one that Sean O'Rourke used to do, and just sitting in the garden for the afternoon. And we've both been in very good form. And it's such a contrast to most of March, the first 2 weeks of March. The thoughts just struck me this moment, actually, that if I'm not mistaken, the first 2 weeks of March last year were the same. I had this big argument with Flo last March, around a few days before the lockdown, because it was actually the day before the lockdown. I was doing the shopping, and I'm walking home after doing the shopping, and I'm going on about the usual suspects in terms of Flo and me. And all the same stuff came up this March. So it makes me wonder if there's not some kind of circular, a cycle to these things. Flo was saying she was learning about this in 12-year cycles that someone was talking about, Satguru or whatever. And I found it interesting because I was just thinking about the cycles myself. 12 years ago, we were in Narbonne and our lives were changing. There's the hope that this is the beginning of another such change. And there's also a kind of a relaxation, whether it's foolhardy, I don't know, but just an acceptance that we don't really know what's coming next in terms of where we're going to earn money from, or perhaps what we're going to do, where we're going to live. But there's a much more relaxed sense of it from both of us. We're not stressed. We're both. We both quite have faith, I think, a confidence that something good will come along. Because, like I often say, we didn't really know at the beginning of our time in Narbonne that we were going to end up running a business. It just happened, I mean, look at me in the video shop, let's say a couple of weeks before I met Flo. I would have never been able to imagine the way things were going to change after meeting Flo. And if you take that to this modern time, you can also say, well, I'm sure you'll be amazed at what's going to happen to you. You know, you'll be fine, you needn't worry about it. A time will come when you'll be both doing stuff, you'll be earning money, financially you'll be okay, you'll be in good spirits, and you'll maybe be saying, isn't it funny, because a year or two ago we had no idea what we were going to do, or if we'd ever sell Connemara, and here we are now, we've sold the Connemara, and we're doing okay. There's a certain element of visualization and the law of attraction and whatnot that I'm not particularly a fan of those things, but I am a fan of kind of having some kind of faith in a higher power. And I've always said I always believe in a little bit of magic. So yeah, we're both feeling pretty content. Mind you, it's pretty easy to feel crap when on the first week in March we both caught the COVID virus from Isabel. That was stressful, but it did have the benefit of kind of knocking a lot of the other things on the head. You know, the anxieties or the worries or me and Flo, it kind of put things in a different perspective, and it seemed to bring forth this peaceful time. Because when you've got the COVID and you don't really know where it's going to go, there comes a time when you think, right now it seems stupid to be worrying about the future and whether you're going to sell a business and what you're going to do with your life. When you think that, you know, as long as your life is healthy, those things, you know, kind of sort themselves out. And it's not really a big worry. Your health is everything. But it is strange that last year we had kind of the same momentum in the spirit, you know. I know spring is coming, and I don't think anyone would argue with the fact that spring has its own natural kind of remedies. Just a sense of enjoying the basics of life. Enjoying the basics. Which is getting up in the morning, having a cup of coffee in the garden, enjoying the warm breeze, looking at the flowers, listening to the bees, going for a walk like I'm doing now, building up a decent appetite, and looking forward to eating something, and then before you know it, especially now that we've got the brightness going on till 8 o'clock, before you know it, it's like 9 o'clock and you're settling in to maybe watch an episode of Star Trek or to play some chess. And then it gets later and you hopefully go to bed and sleep soundly. It's a nice state to be in when you're not obsessed about wanting anything. You're not complaining about your situation. you're enjoying just the being. There's an art form in just enjoying being. A lot of this stuff, I think it simply comes to with age. That's how things stand at the moment. Ireland is hoping to have 1 million vaccines rolled out by next month, by May. They're hoping to open some stuff up. Here in Arizona, Christian is the guy who owns the 21 and the burger place, and he's going to be the new guy running the lake, Bossonad. He also bought up the clothes shop beside the tobacco in the main square. He's becoming the Rockefeller of Arizona. Audrey's boyfriend, the guy who did run the lake, he's finished now. He's suffering at the moment from kidney stones. She's being dealt with in hospital. Just the news of the time. France is going into another lockdown from Saturday for a month. Which is really nothing for me and Flo, because it feels like we've been in a lockdown since November, to be honest. And especially since we stopped doing the takeaways in the morning, which was just the beginning of March. It already feels like about 4 months ago. But yeah, it won't change things for us very much. The only place I ever go anyway is the supermarket and the Connemara. I don't go to any shops. Bonjour. That's an old lady in a white coat. I would imagine she's definitely in her 80s. She's got a walking stick and she's taking tiny little steps. Tiny little steps. I've always felt it's so important to work on your faculty and yourself, so that certain things will shine brighter within you when you get older, because all the physical stuff gets harder to do. For me, it shouldn't really be a problem, because I'm not a sporting person. I don't really do anything. But what I mean is that as you get older, you could, well, I'll use the old example I always use, go to an art gallery, and instead of how it is now, let's say for me, that the time flies and it's incredibly interesting and you want to learn more and more about some subjects that you see, that grows and grows, and by the time you get to 80, it's almost a spiritual religious experience going to a gallery. You almost feel you feel something really lift inside you. And it's the same with other things. Music, for instance. So that when you don't have the mobility, you do have some extra faculties kick into play within you. And you're sitting in your armchair watching a program about something or other, or you're listening to music, or maybe in my case, you're playing a game or something, but that really is all you need. When you're 80. The way we look at aging. Buongiorno. The way we look at it, it's obviously a fact. And it's like I always remember something Jordan Peterson said one time. He said, sometimes people get depressed and they get anxious, and they've got every right to be. It's not like a figment of their imagination. It's not some kind of a mental ailment. It's like if you lose your job and you just get divorced, then you're going to be depressed. So when I think about getting old, well, there's a certain, let me call it maybe a healthy is not the right word, but a certain reality in the anxiety and the depression. Because on many levels it's not a great thing. However, I'm amazed at how different my attitude toward all that is right now and about 2 weeks ago. I was in the computer room, it's all on my March audio. I've left it all in, it's all very depressing. I'm going to upload it anyway. But I was in the computer room, and I turned on my Philips recorder, and I was so depressed, and at moments like that, you look to the future and old age, and it's very hard to find anything to comfort your spirit. And you think, how much is this to do with the state I'm in at the moment? Because the state I'm in my head and the chemicals and all the rest is going to create that projection. And it is so true that now I'm in a much better state at the moment in my head. And I don't know whether it's because the right chemicals are shooting off, because I've been getting more air, eating. I don't know if it's like some kind of physical thing or just very simply a cycle that's a kind of a bigger picture, a spiritual cycle, I don't know. Cops driving up and down the road. I'm holding a flask. What is that we're looking at? Yeah, but it is amazing how your internal state of play at any one time really dictates the way you perceive things. And what I'm saying is you shouldn't really trust yourself. A lot of the times by that I mean, like in March when I was very down, and I think I did say, this is just because I feel like this. No, it will change. It will change.
the internal movements and changes cause our outlook and our perceptions and our levels to change. And all of a sudden, like today, I find I've got interests again. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how the laptop works with the fiber optics. I'm looking forward to uploading all of the audio onto my This Life channel for March. I'm then, in a small way, I'm looking forward to maybe having a ham or a chicken sandwich when I go home. But a few weeks ago, because I felt so down, there was absolutely nothing I wanted to do. I had no interest in anything. And I wondered if the interest would ever come back, and I said to Flo, "Oh, it's been months, I'm not interested in anything," that was a bit of an exaggeration. But they do come back. I'm even thinking now, because of what I heard in my audio yesterday from the 14th of April last year, I'm thinking maybe I might watch some of my videos on transport fever. I did about 5 videos, just kind of a playthrough. And you see, that's not something would have had any interest a few weeks ago. And now suddenly, I'm thinking, yeah, I think I'd like to watch that. Kind of hope that knowledge helps when things get run down again. It's like the cryptocurrencies, you know. Everything's sky high at the moment, so it's, the world is great. I'm on track to be rich, but just today. And I know that tomorrow, everything could be down by 25-30%. And it'll all be a bit miserable again. That's not really a good example of what I'm saying. I'm saying that the internal me goes up and down, and it may be that in a week or two I may lose interest in everything again, and it may all seem gloomy. But if I can only acknowledge the fact that that's just internal malfunctions, and it's only just for now, and it mightn't even be that it's a bad thing. It might be that some other things have been constructed, and in order for these things to be constructed, you have to be in that particular low state. You know, what did they say before? Just before the dawn, you have the darkest of the night, whatever. So it might be you just need to be down to have the up, and so it's all a kind of just a whole system of cycles and circles and things. When I feel reasonably good like this, I'm always aware of what it was like to feel bad, and I'm trying to find something to hopefully store away, a bit like a squirrel, that I'll be able to use when the down comes. Some little gold nugget. I'm walking up the hill toward the old house. I don't know if it's the time. What time did I set off at 3:30? It seems very still. And maybe as well it's Friday, it's not Sunday or Saturday. I've only met one person. That old lady with the white coat. Actually, there was another woman walking a dog, but there's nobody on bikes. There's no families. It's quiet, very quiet. There is no future, really. There's just the now. So if you're lying in bed or you're listening to this on a chair or in a couch or on holiday somewhere, like I always seem to think that'll happen at some point in another place. Remember that there isn't really a future, there's just the present. I don't mean that in a scary way. I mean, of course there is a future, but we have to be content in the present. Because looking to the future with a healthy anticipation and a healthy attitude is fantastic. But if you find yourself stressed and anxious about the future, that's a dreadful waste of energy. And you might be doing yourself harm. And it's pointless exercise. You're being stressed and anxious about nothing, really. Now the coffee machine is not working too well in the Connemara. I don't want to try it again because the taste, I remember what it tasted like, and the taste makes me sick thinking about it. And I've already tried cleaning out the water and stuff. And it's a shame because I always look forward to the coffee. If there were a takeaway coffee to buy, I'd certainly be in the mood for it. This weekend is Easter. Easter. I just had a flashback of poor Martine as she left her Easter egg in the back of the car Sunday when we went to Mass, because I think we were going to drop her off at the Two Ants. Must have been something like that. I can't see why you'd want to bring your Easter egg in the car unless you were being dropped off somewhere. Anyway, after Mass we came out and all the chocolate was running down the back of the car seat. The sun had just hit the back window and melted the egg. My mum was upset for Martina because Martina was crying. My dad was upset for the car because there was chocolate running down his clean car. I think they brought it to the Two Ants and they put it in the freezer. It's a little tragedy of life. Easter egg melting for Martina. Maybe she was 10 years old at the time. Which would have put me around 8 or 9 or something. There's so much in me that feels unchanged, although I can't really, there's no way of judging, is there? I mean, I can remember myself walking around talking like this, and I'm sure I did in the garden or in the house when I was 7 years old. I don't want the conversation, we're more or less the same. Would have felt the same to me, you know. Obviously, if that was recorded, it would have sounded strange now. Because of, well, I can imagine that the ramblings of a 7-year-old is slightly different to a 55-year-old. But there was something, it's an interesting thought as well, there was something there that's constant. There's something, I think, although when you're part of the process, you don't really see yourself changing. How can you? I mean, visibly you can. But in other ways, it's hard to see the changes. Changes in temperament, changes in the faculty, because they happen slowly, but there are definitely changes happening. I am kind of getting closer to the almond factory, if you call it that. One change in me, for instance, I can say, I think in a pretty definite way, is that I'm bringing my laptop here and I want to see how the fiber optic works and how I can, well, I noticed a big difference uploading things to YouTube and whatnot, but I think I can honestly say that if I can't get this to work at all, you know, if it just doesn't work and I can't figure out why, it's not going to bother me. It's just not going to bother me much, maybe very slightly. But I'll rest and then I'll pack up and I'll leave and I look forward to going home. Now that's a change. Because I think there would have been a time when I would have been walking here maybe faster with a little anxiety about, God, I hope it works. You know, what am I going to do if I get there and the laptop doesn't work? I feel my attitude has changed in that respect, in a nice, healthy way. I don't expect everything to work, and I'm not too bothered if they don't. I think even the whole cryptocurrency thing, if I'd been doing this years ago, oh God, if I'd just done it years ago, I'd be wealthy. Can you imagine? I'd spent 10,000 on Bitcoin when it was like 5,000 euros for one. Well, I would have bought, let's say, 2 whole Bitcoins. And 2 whole Bitcoins at the moment would be 120,000. My 10,000 would be now worth 120,000. Anyway, I'm getting off the point here. If I was dealing with cryptocurrencies 6-7 years ago and I was drinking, and I was having all the problem with, like, math sending me a check, like not being able to get Flow hooked up to Coinbase, like not being able to send money to Binance because it's in Flo's name. I think these things are driving me mad. But I take it all a lot smoother, I think, today. There can be a little frustration and the thought of, oh, can you imagine if you had managed to get this 10,000 from MAF and you managed to get it into fucking, let's say a Binance coin, for instance. Jesus, 10,000 would be about 60, 70,000, 50,000 today. Anyway, see what I mean? I accepted it for maybe there's some higher reasoning behind it. And so it didn't bother me. I look at Binance and I think, well, you've got 400 euros and I think you may have only spent 50. Maybe let's say 100. Well, hey, you've made 300 euros. What's there to complain about? You could have made 3,000 euros, but you could have also have not done anything and made nothing. So you're still winning. That's another thing. My interest in the whole crypto thing seems to be reignited. Because I find myself got a new interest in the whole thing again. I'll be back later. Okay. I said it before, it'd be great if I could strike lucky big time with the crypto stuff and then make money and do something with it to start giving me a regular monthly income and have some place I could stay that would be mine and have money that would be mine, and it's not going to drive and basically not have to worry about jobs. That's the real big it's the big problem, the notion of having to work for someone to earn money. I've really gotten so used now to having money come to me very easily. I can almost go back to 2005 to the Lloyds. And I felt I was earning great money for doing very little, and it was a nice routine. Maybe a bit tricky getting up in the morning, but it was just kind of going in the evening was kind of effortless. And I was earning money and I wasn't spending it. Then I came to France and there was all that stress for a while, but then things worked out and I had all this money coming through in Narbonne. And they were going to pay me 2,000 a month for 2 years. And so again, there's just no thought of working for anybody. then we started our own business, and then again it just felt like it really is nothing to compare with getting a wage at the end of the month or week. When you're working for yourself, psychologically it's a completely different thing. It just really is. And so after, what is it? My God, it's maybe 12, 11 years of the Connemara. 2 years in Narbonne, some months in Lyon, 2 years in the Lloyds. It's so hard for me to visualize going back perhaps into a situation where I'm working and I don't particularly like it. Although there's the other side to that. Sometimes I think, well, wouldn't it be great to work if you could just, if there wasn't the stress with the language, then it'd be cool to work in a shop, or maybe there'd be some people you'd get on well with. Maybe you'd strike up some friendship with a girl, I don't know. But the beauty would be, you're not the guy that spent 6 months working for that fucking coral company. You know, with stomach cramps and anxiety every day. You're not that person anymore. So I just had to walk past the car with the woman in it. I'm kind of flask, so I'm kind of aware of talking to myself with the flask. But yeah, just to finish that thought, if I'm in a job and someone is treating me like an asshole or whatever, I wouldn't take it anymore, I just walk. So it could actually be incredible fun, you know? It could be incredible fun. Going from job to job and just trying to have a good time. With no pressure. I think that may be one of the most surprising things in the future. I may one day say to Flo, you know, Flo, I've gone through a few jobs and I have to say I've really enjoyed all of them. I just, I love the situation. Once I've gotten over the language thing, there's no pressure and I'm with different people and I just really like it. And I know I can leave whenever I want. I don't know, that may be one of the big surprises. A feeling of just completely different to what I expect. Yeah.
Je te laisse par rapport à ça, si vous arrêtez là.
I am almost getting to the end of the, well, you probably heard the kids at school. I'm getting to the end of the street. this uphill walk to the Connemara from here is a very good way to test my lungs, to test if this COVID has had any effect. And I'm kind of happy to report that I don't really notice any difference in my state. Because this is it is quite a climb. But I'm not out of breath. I'm able to talk. I was mumbling there, sorry about that. I was doing a scenario in my head where I was saying to someone, Ilia de l'eau, dans le flask, il ne peut pas boire alcool. Ask, je suis un alcoolique. Let's check the mailbox. Operation Fiscadilla. For the money we have. I'm mumbling again. Again, I was imagining if someone asks, "Oh, you're still clothed. How are you coping?" And I was thinking it might be cool to say to someone, "Well, it's not about the money. We've got plenty of money. We don't need the money. The Connemara is just really a hobby." But maybe that would not be the best thing to say to someone. Right, I'm here, the quiet coolness, stillness of the Connemara, and how long has that all taken? 1 hour and 4 minutes. So there we go. I thought maybe I was going to wait till it got to an hour, but I think as I get older, my pace slowed down. And yeah, I could do this in 45 minutes. I'm sure I could do it in 45 minutes if I tried. But anyway, that's it for now. I have 27% battery left, so I'm going to charge my phone. And if I feel like it, I may do a double feature for the 2nd of April. But for now, I'm going to wait till we get to 1 hour and 5 minutes exactly, and I'm going to switch off. Adios.